The Sweet 16 is here. 2-seeded Tennessee takes on 3-seeded Kentucky for the third time this year.
A showdown is brewing in Indianapolis. These two rivals fight for an Elite Eight berth.
I'm Shea, and this is Jace. Welcome to the PCS Volcast. We cover the SEC and all things Vols, so please subscribe and like the video if you enjoy the content. Today we're going to go over how each team can win, the key players, and our PCS final score predictions. Let's jump right into how we think each team can win, starting with Tennessee.
Well, just to start, I think, this could be the biggest Tennessee basketball game ever. And that might be a little hyperbole, but, just think about it. There are so many storylines surrounding this game. Obviously, we're in March Madness tournament, Elite Eight berth on the line. These two teams are rivals. We rarely get to see two interconference and rival teams play in the tournament. These two fan bases are some of the most passionate fan bases in the country, and they meet in a close, neutral site in Indianapolis.
It makes me a little bit worried because you always told me that Kentucky fans travel.
They do travel.
Are Tennessee fans going to meet expectations in the same way?
I think so. I hope they do. We saw them, at Ohio State, the football game. They traveled there.
Yeah.
Both of these, as I said, fan bases, but they both travel. And I think it'll be a pretty good 50-50 split, which will just make it electric. But to start, how each team can win, my first one is simple. It's 3 words. Chaz Harrison Lanier. That is his middle name. He has been on a burner this tournament, averaging about 24.5 per game. And I anticipate he'll have to do something similar against Kentucky. As we said before, we've played twice already. And so far, Chaz Lanier is only averaging about 12.5 points per game, and he's 3 for 14 from 3. That's not the, consistency and the production that we're used to at all. But I can smell a big game coming from him against Kentucky this weekend.
Yeah, going 0 for 7 in threes last game is really ugly, especially for our star player, which leads me into my first point. For Tennessee, we please just make threes. We have been just absolute garbage trying to make threes going against Kentucky. We have been literally looking at a 3-18 game and 11 for 45 in that first game in January. That's 24%. We're averaging 34.5 on the year, but 45 threes.
That's insane. Yeah,
that is the most in the Rick Barnes era and the second most ever in Vol history. So let's not see that again, at least. But if we're gonna let's shoot for half of that and let's make around 35, please.
Yeah, we can just get into kind of the 2 previous games. I think, played them relatively evenly, all things considered, in those 2 games, except the glaring difference was the threes. That percentage is terrible. That's about, 20% average, and they average 50%. You're not going to win many games against anybody if those are the differences in three-point percentage. And I think, that's what I was saying. Chaz Lanier, big onus on him. He's been hot so far. And, it is on our other guys as well, Gainey, Igor, Ziegler, to make those threes. But, yeah, we're looking to Chaz really to step up and to kind of make up that difference. And for my second way to win, it kind of plays off of that with the Kentucky three-point shooting. We all know they're a very good three-point shooting team. They have a lot of guys. Kobe Brea, who could very well be a better catch-and-shoot three-point shooter than Chaz Lanier. Lamont Butler is a very proficient three-point shooter. They have a lot of guys, really all their team can. But in my opinion, I don't want to see hardly any help, from our defense. I'm kind of the opinion, good luck, Jemai Meshack, on Otega Owe. Play one-on-one and do not help off of their three-point shooters. Now, Otega Owe is a ferocious scorer and driver. He's a scary guy. He looks scary. He has that kind of resting mean mug. And honestly, if I made an all-SEC dog team, he would be that 2-guard next to Zakai Ziegler. He's ferocious. When he puts his head down, it's hard to stop him. But I don't really think the game plan needs to be surrounded around Otega Owe. It really needs to be stopping these Kentucky three-point shooters and running them off the line.
Yeah, another thing for Tennessee is we have been really good at free throw shooting so far in this tournament. Let's keep that up because this is where we're getting a good chunk of points every game. We even got the bench players doing really well with their three-point percentage. So let's hope that the one downside of Owe is that he gets fouls called on him.
Yes. Oh, that would be huge to get him in foul trouble. That would be huge, yes. like, him guarding Gainey or Chaz, them driving to the basket.
Right.
That would be huge
Exactly.
for sure. Outside of those 3-point shots that I was talking about earlier, the one, thing that I do think that we excel over Kentucky and most of the country, honestly, is that physicality and ability to get to the line. And, yeah, we have been really good at free throw shooting this tournament. So that's definitely something. If we slow down the game, run them off the line, and get to the free throw line, I think we could be successful. My third way to win is two really, really key matchups that'll probably take place most of this game. That is the Zakai Ziegler versus Lamont Butler matchup and the Felix or Igor versus the Amari Williams matchup. These are two really, really important starters for Kentucky. Lamont Butler being a proficient scorer as well as a, all SEC defender, and Amari Williams being a key offensive and defensive hub. Really a guy at 7 foot that can, be a true point center at times. Really scary player. But if we want to win this game, we need to win those individual matchups more times than not, because we're going to see that all game, and those are two, key players for each team that will match up against each other.
Yeah, another thing I saw from the past 2 games was we had 5 and 9 turnovers, which honestly is not terrible, but as long as we limit our turnovers, we just need as many chances as we can get on offense.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not give the ball to Kentucky if we don't have to.
Especially them having guys like Otega Owe and Lamont Butler who are exceptional at getting steals at the guard positions. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge key. Guys like Ziegler, Gainey, and the rest of our guards are really going to have to take care of the ball.
Yeah, we've already seen it. If Owe gets the ball, he's going to make it all the way down there.
Yes. In a flash.
No matter what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, looking at Kentucky, the first thing I have for them is to force turnovers.
Yep.
Like I just said, limit Tennessee's possessions on offense. We kind of shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes. We have been better at rebounding than them in the past 2 matchups, but it hasn't mattered because we can't score at all. So if you can force those turnovers, because I think our offense is a lot hotter than it was in those past 2 games. Yeah. So the one thing they might need to focus on is not slowing us down, but just stopping us completely.
We can go back and look at that game film, look at the previous stats from the past 2 games, all we want. But I think, honestly, for me, to keep it simple, just in terms of thinking about it, I really do think that we're just in a better place as a team than we were in those past 2 matchups. And as you were saying, if Kentucky can force turnovers, Otega Owe will go down there and get points more times than not. And for my first way that Kentucky can win is shoot threes early and often. I don't think you have to force them, but we all know that that's Kentucky's main game plan, is to get out and get up a lot of shots and hopefully shoot high volume and high efficiency under Mark Pope. They have guys like Kobe Brea, Lamont Butler, and Ansley Almanor, who are no strangers to big games and big shots. Obviously, all 3 of those guys, incoming transfers from teams that have either won big games or made big runs in the tournament in the past. And if I'm Mark Pope and the Wildcats, I'm going to continue to have faith in them, as well as all the other guys they have, to do the same against Tennessee.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, I think Kentucky should force us to shoot threes. They've already seen it. We have had terrible 3-point percentage. We've been doing a lot better recently. But I think something in Tennessee, maybe we get nervous. Maybe Chaz gets nervous. I don't know what's going on. But if they can force us to take the threes, I don't think that we can win shooting another 45 threes in one game.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a part of their game plan.
And as I said, I don't think we can shoot that bad even if we try, really. But I think, you said this before this video. Chaz Lanier said that Kentucky kind of dared them to shoot in the past 2 matchups. And, they were correct in that gamble, holding us to about 14 for 63 from 3-point percentage, from 3-point land, which is horrible. But if you're Kentucky, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how they won the past 2 games, and I assume Mark Pope will, do the same game plan this time around.
We've been talking about him. Owe, get him open. We've seen the highlights. He gets open. He's got his own lane. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. He's going to dunk it somehow. Mm-hmm. If they can find the matchups for him, really, he doesn't need much.
Mm-mm.
If he gets just the tiniest shine of a lane to that basket, he will get the ball in there. So make sure he can do that more times than not.
It's such a good combination of finesse and physicality. I mean, he is just a really, really impressive scorer. And, as I've said this before, but, I'm going to be okay if he gets his at times. We don't want him to get so much that he'll win the game for him. But I do really have confidence in Meshack and Gainey to hold him down a little bit. For my next way that Kentucky can win, I said defend without fouling. That's what every team wants to do. But, Tennessee at times can be an underwhelming offensive team. And I think Kentucky is a underrated defensive team. They certainly have some good individual defenders, but we've seen Tennessee really excel at getting to the line and being physical. So if you're Kentucky, just go straight up and make us make layups and jump shots over you. They don't want to get into foul trouble. They're already kind of undermanned with injuries. So, yeah, just do not let Tennessee get free points at the free throw line.
And now it's time to look at the key players for this game. Let's start with Tennessee. My first one has a few. I'm going to go with our three-point shooters.
For sure.
Like we just said, Kentucky was playing off, letting us shoot when we wanted to. I don't think no matter how open the look is, I'm still going to be crossing my fingers anytime we go up for a three. But really, I'm looking at Chaz. I'm looking at Ziegler, Gainey, and Igor. If any of them can have a really good three-point shooting game on Friday, then I think that will help us out a lot. I honestly don't think we need much to win this game.
We don't. No.
It's just how bad we were in certain areas the past two games. If we get that cleaned up, we have a really good shot of winning this. I mean, when you look on ESPN, we have like a 65% chance. I was not expecting to see that. That honestly makes me... Yeah, I mean, that makes me feel worse, I guess, but better. It makes me feel worse like we're going to lose it just because we're favored. But better just in the fact that ESPN still believes in us. And I think it's for good reason. Like I just said, all four of those guys have been good, well, decent so far. And all three of them out of the four, everyone besides Igor has been really good recently.
Yep. Yeah, in the tournament for sure.
So that's who I'm going to be looking at. If any of those guys can step up, or if all three of them can just look good during the game, I will be happy.
Yeah, we only lost, the first game by 5 and the second game by 9, which isn't a huge margin. We just need a few more of those threes to fall, and we can secure those victories. And for my first key player, I'll say it again, 3 words: Chaz Harrison Lanier. You smell that?
Is The Rock cooking?
No, it's a 30-point game from Chaz Lanier. I'm calling it right now.
No.
When Chaz Lanier transferred for North Florida, it was between two teams, Tennessee and Kentucky. And up to this point, Kentucky said, we don't need him because Chaz has not really done anything against Kentucky, but this is the game. Chaz Lanier is going to continue his hot streak and win us this game with at least 30 points. I'll say it, at least 30.
I mean, do you think we can get it done if he doesn't get 30?
I do. I think we can still get it done, if we get that percentage up to 35 or just something that's not abysmal and we play good defense. But I have this feeling about Chaz that he's been inconsistent this season, and then come tournament time, he just turns it on.
I'm sure the Vol fans already know this, but this was surprising to me. Chaz is the all-time leader at threes for the Vols.
Yes, he broke that, I think, last game or two games ago.
Is it just me, or did he do that silently? I mean, I don't know. I feel like when I watch Chaz, I'm seeing a lot of pull-up twos, but hey, I'm not mad.
I mean, it is a lot of threes. The reason why I think he did that silently was because he has been inconsistent this year, and I really also think it's because the shoes that he tried to fill from Dalton Connect, he was never going to be the next Connect, and that's okay. We should have accepted that earlier in the season. He does his role, though. He shoots threes well. He scores for us at times. And I will say, if we had a guy like Connect or just an elite scorer, Chaz would be even more elite and efficient because he'd be in his natural role of a catch-and-shoot guy. But that's not how it is, so we got to accept it.
Another guy for Tennessee that I'm looking at is Meshack, potential defensive player of the year. I do have confidence in him. Another silent guy just because if he's doing his job right, then you're not going to be looking at him on the screen.
That's true.
So hopefully that is going to be what I'm saying on Friday as well. He's going to be on Owe.
Yep.
Owe's a scary guy. Hopefully Meshack's scarier. They both got an RBF. Who's is scarier? I guess we'll find out Friday.
Yeah, and in that same vein of Meshack and the same vein of the Tennessee three-point shooters, like you were saying, I have the Tennessee three-point defenders. If we see Kentucky get more than 5 or 6, I don't know, however many open looks, I'm just going to be beside myself because that's the exact way that we've lost the past 2 games to them. That's supposed to be our strength. We're the best three-point shooting defense in the country. Just please do not let them just get off a bunch of open threes, please.
Now, I will note, they shot 50% in the last 2 matchups. I do not see that happening again.
Hopefully not.
Moving on to Kentucky. Who are the players that we're going to be looking at? Of course, I've already said it a billion times. I'm going to say Owe. If they need a bucket, they're going to look at him to get it. It's really going to depend on how many open looks he does get.
Yeah, I agree. And, sometimes he doesn't need to be open to get the look that he wants. But on the flip side, I said Andrew Carr, a guy we haven't really talked about a lot today. He is kind of like an Igor Milicic for us, especially offensively, a guy that has been injured a little bit this season and just been overall inconsistent. If Andrew Carr steps up and kind of fills that stretch and also inside score for Mark Pope, Kentucky can make a legitimate run to the championship. I think Kentucky fans have wanted Andrew Carr to step up this year, and we'll see if he does that against a team like Tennessee.
Yeah, so my next guy for Kentucky will be Lamont Butler. He makes me a little bit nervous because he's going to be on Ziegler. Now, Ziegler obviously has a special place in my heart, but he does make me a little worried in some games. I think Butler has like the confidence or the swagger to really pull up in front of Ziegler and think that he's the better guy. I just don't want to see Ziegler make too many mistakes because, like I said earlier, when the how we can win, we got to make sure we limit our turnovers.
Yes.
Now, Ziegler is obviously our guy for assist. Now, with assists come turnovers, so Butler's pretty good at forcing them. Let's hope that Ziegler doesn't allow that.
Yeah, I expect Lamont Butler to be in Zakai Ziegler's face all game. They have a few versatile defenders at the guard position, but none as elite as Lamont Butler. And for my next Kentucky key player, I have Amari Williams, the big man from Nottingham, England. He hasn't really had a lot of problems with fouling this season, but I think in this game specifically, it's going to be a huge burden on him to make sure he doesn't foul. We've said this before, but Tennessee's been very good at forcing teams into fouling them, especially guys like Ziegler. Gainey's a really good foul drawer. So when we do get in the paint, Amari Williams cannot foul because he is as important as he is offensively as he is defensively. Kind of an offensive hub for them at times. Again, he can be that point center. So, their offense and defense drops off a lot when Amari Williams is not in the game. And
then last but not least, I have Kobe Bray for my last guy to look for on Kentucky. Now, he can win them games alone. He had 23 against Illinois, so he's already looking good so far in the tournament. Honestly, I do think he can go off and will survive. It's about how well they play collectively as a team and how well we shoot threes. I mean, just looking at the past few matchups, all I can say is that we did everything right besides the threes. I just want to see us clean that up.
Yes.
I am feeling good that we have been looking good recently. Kobe Bray, look, I know you want to be Chaz, but not everybody can be swaggy Chaz, so I don't know, But look, when I'm looking at a trash can and I got a paper ball in my hand, I'm not saying Kobe and thinking of you, bro. So
True. True.
But I do think he'll play good in this game. I'm sure he will. He's one of their best players. But again, Tennessee's good enough to win despite that.
I'm going to be honest, out of everybody on this Kentucky roster, it is Kobe Brea who scares me the most. He can just catch fire like few people can in the college game. The transfer from Dayton has been a huge addition to this Kentucky roster. And, Mark Pope maybe had a decision between Chaz Lanier and Kobe Brea, and they ended up getting Brea. I had, for my last Kentucky key player, the big game seniors, being Kobe Brea, Lamont Butler, and Ainsley Elmanor. I've mentioned them before. Each of them have had their moments and their huge games, and, they look to have another against Tennessee.
All right, now we're going to move on to the best part of the whole show is the PCS final score predictions. If you don't know, the PCS is a fun and simple way for you and your friends to predict the final score of any Tennessee matchup, whether it's basketball or football. Jace and I have been doing it. We're going to do it again for this game, and afterwards we're going to get a final score prediction score. So, looking back on these two games, I don't think Tennessee's going to score in the 60s. I don't think Kentucky's going to score in the 60s. Give me Tennessee to win 78-76.
If we do score in the 60s, we're not going to win. Simple as that. They're too good of a three-point shooting team, too good of an offense, to lose a game like that. Defensively, I don't think they have quite the defense UCLA did, but I do really think that they're underrated. So I think I can see this game in the 70s for sure. I think that's probably, where the over-under and spread had it. For me, though, I said it before, Chaz Lanier, 30-piece. And I think that's going to get us to 82 to Kentucky's 79. Vols win.
Now, just to be honest, I do think 82 is a little high. I can't remember the last time we got up to 82. But if it happens, I'm not going to complain. Maybe I should complain if they get up to 79, but a win is a win.
Yeah, I mean, 82 is a lot, I'll be honest, but you got to shoot for the stars in a game like this. I mean, this is crunch time. It's the Sweet 16. First round's over. That was teams that are way lower seeded than us. This is the big boy round now, and I'm hoping that the Vols will put on their big boy pants and get up to the 82.
So this has been the PCS Volcast. We are very excited. I'm sure you guys are too. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you disagree or agree, we don't care. Just let us know in the comments what you think. Stick around for more. This has been Shea.
And I'm Jace.
Go Vols!
Go Vols!